So we have 3 different types of Dewalt batteries, and my husband wants to upgrade, and I am confused why that's a good deal. So can you explain to me what the difference is of the 3 types of batteries?
The biggest difference is the Nicads are an older technology, and they're fairly outdated by now. These are 1.2 volts per cell, and so you need quite a bit of cells to make. This is a 14 volt pack, but it's very similar. You have a couple more cells for the 18 volt pack. You have an issue of these have a memory to them, and eventually if you don't use them all the way or drain them right, they theoretically they start dying on you. The lithium batteries they're a higher grade battery. They're 3.6 volts a piece, and they are lighter because lithium is a lighter chemical than nickel is.
So we have the lithium ones, right?
You have a heavier battery over here, and you have a lighter battery over here, just because of the insides of the battery are lighter themselves with the same amount of power. So the lithium batteries are going to give you they're a lighter battery with the same amount of power, and what that amounts to is, you're using a drill on and off. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more comfortable to have a lighter drill than a heavier Nicad system.
Is the Nicad cheaper?
Nicads are cheaper right now. You kind of get what you pay for. The newer system has, in my opinion, the batteries last longer, and so it's worth the extra money.
In the long run?
Yeah.
How often do you have to replace the batteries?
Nicads, they usually last 4 or 5 years before they start pittering out. The lithiums, I have a set from 2009 that's about 6 years, and it still works just fine. So I'm guessing 8 or 9 years with a lithium type setup, depending on how much you use it. If you're using it, in an industrial setting, if you're using it every day, it's probably going to be 4 or 5 years, something like that. But every other weekend, you're probably looking at a lot more, like 8, 10 years.
And now Dewalt came out with a new system that you think is better, and why is this system better?
The new system is, you have your old battery, which is 18 volts, and your new battery, which is also 18 volts. They decided to call it 20 volts because this battery will not fit in this drill.
But they're both 18 volts.
They're both 18 volts. However, they decided to call this one the 20 volt because technically when you pull it right off of the charger, it's 20 volts. This one does the exact same thing. It's also 20 volts at the charger, but really it's not. They're not trying to say this is more powerful than this. They're just trying to say this is different than this. The insides are the same. The voltages are the same, but this connector and this connector are completely different.
Oh yeah, one's way tinier.
Yeah, so this one connects into this drill like that. This one connects in like that. So they do not, you can even give it a shot. They're good luck with that, But this is if you look at the size of this battery and the size of this battery, this is quite a bit thinner. It's less wide, and it's less tall. And so when you have tools in your bag and stuff, you can get more of these in one spot than one of these. And these both have the exact same number of cells too.
So they're going to last the same amount of time?
Depending on the amp hour. Your amp hour is going to be on the bottom of each battery. This one is 3 amp hour, and this one is a 5 amp hour. You can buy the new style in a 5, a 4, a 3, and they've actually done a mini pack, which is 1.5. So you take the mini pack see these 5 right here? Mm-hmm. There's another 5 underneath this. There's another cell that is just one straight set of just 5 cells, and that's even lighter than this one. And this one, there's two different versions of the new ones. You have a battery gauge on some of these.
The old one doesn't have a battery gauge?
They don't sell fuel gauges for any of the older style.
Why would I want a fuel gauge?
Let's say you're working on something on the 5th story and your charger is on the bottom story, and let's say you're going to grab all your tools. When you're at the bottom of the stairs, you want to check all your batteries to make sure they're full. That way, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to find out all the way at the top of the stairs, oh geez, my battery's dead. I have to come all the way back down, all the way back up. So it's a handy feature to have to be able to check, your battery status.
Does it take the same amount of time to recharge?
Obviously, the 3 amp has 3 amps worth of power. The 5 has 5 amps worth of power. So it's really just based on the batteries themselves. A 3 amp old style and a 3 amp new style, both of them are gonna take about an hour to charge. The 1.5 amp hour version of this takes about half that because it's half the voltage. So it's going to take about half an hour to charge. This one, which is the 5 amp, it's going to take maybe, if it's completely down to no bars, it's going to take maybe an hour and a half to charge. But it's completely based on the type of battery and how dead it is.
I see.
What other questions?
So your main reason for buying the new one is because you have more control over the size of the battery. It's a smaller pack, so it's going to be lighter. Another reason is the drills themselves. This Dewalt has come out with a new style of drill. The old style over here is a standard brushed motor. This battery, if you see in here, it has 2 brushes that power the inside of the motor itself. This creates sparks, it creates friction, and as the motor wears out, you're done. The drill wears out, and this drill will last maybe 5-10 years. This drill right here, this is a brushless motor, and it doesn't have that problem. It has all of the electrical parts of this motor on the outside of the motor. And so they get the power straight to the outside of the motor, and the only thing that spins is a spindle with 2 magnets on it. And so the only part in here that's physically moving is that shaft with those parts. The 2 bearings might wear out eventually, but the drill itself is more bulletproof, and this will probably last 10, 20, 30 years because there's nothing really that wears out. On the older style, you can clean up the brushes. You can replace the brushes. You can also clean up there's a electrical part in there that the brushes grip onto that spins, and you can also clean that up to kind of give it a new lease on life. But these motors are pretty small in here. It's hard to get to inside there. It's almost at this battery right here. This is a used battery. It's probably worth about $30. At that point, it's hardly worth it. The brushes are about $10. At that rate, it makes more sense just to buy a brand new drill, or upgrade to the newer style. And what's the oldest generation? Is that a brush system?
The oldest style, yeah. The older style also has the brushed motor. So, and this dates back to the 1800s. They've used brushed motors. And they've had brushless motors in automotive applications and a lot of other things, but they've just never made it to the tool market until recently, because of the technology required to control a brushless motor. Because brushed motor is fairly simple. It's got positive, it's got a negative. You give it charge, and the motor inside spins. It's a fairly simple system. This system, you have a coil here, a coil here, and a coil here. You got 3 wires. You have to have a computer that says, okay, power this one, power this one, power this one, power this one, and you have to do that based on input from your throttle there's quite a bit of circuitry in here, and the ability to make and compact that into a small little case here is the modern upgrade that's been recently available.
So are all three sold at the hardware store?
These two, I believe, this one is an outdated model. Most people have completely gone away from 14 volt.
So that's only on eBay.
This is an eBay or used garage sale type thing. You can still buy brand new 14 volt nickel cadmium batteries. You can still buy these batteries, and these are the new batteries. You can still buy these new. They've really kind of done away with the, and you can even buy brand new 18 volt Nicad. So pretty much all of the batteries are still available, but they've kind of slowly upgraded the drills themselves over the years.
So you think the middle one is going to become outdated eventually? Eventually it won't be for sale at the hardware store?
They're trying to phase these ones out. But they know, everyone's using 18 volt right now. I mean, that's just the standard. And only a couple people are using the new 20 volt. But as these new technologies come out, they're only coming out on the 20 volt. So if you want to get the new stuff, you got to go with the 20s. And that's where the advantage to switching over is.
The Dewalt batteries affect the whole system. It's not just a drill. There's other tools.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can get vacuum cleaners, you can get saws, you can get a whole range of different stuff. So these are click and play. If you want something cordless, that should be able to power it. They have lawn tools. They have a weed blower. They have a weed whacker. They have cordless radios.
And they all use the same battery.
And they all use the exact same battery. They have different versions. This is the 20 volt. They do have a 40 volt that does heavy industrial concrete drills. I believe 40 is the max that they have, and that's an even bigger battery.
So how can I tell if I'm getting the old battery or the new battery when I go to the hardware store?
It's very, very simple. That's the way the old ones look. This is the way the new ones look.
So it's purely off of look.
Yeah. Well,
and they're going to call the new one a 20 volt.
They're calling them the new one the 20 volt.
So this is the old.
And that says 18.
And this is the new.
And that says 20. In Europe, they are not allowed to call a 18 volt nominal battery 20 volts. So they actually have different stickers on here in Europe that say 18 volt.
Do they still call the old one the 18 volt as well?
Yeah. So they have they're calling the new ones the 18 volt XR, and the old ones are the 18 volt whatever. So if you want the new style, it's 18 volt XR. The old style is 18 volt XRP, technically, I guess, which is they had and this is the better version of the 18 volt. They have an 18 volt that doesn't say XRP, and this is the 3 amp, and those I think are 2 or a little bit less. And they have a mini version of this too, that has I believe smaller cells.
So I think I understand now. Is that it? Is it all of the differences?
Yeah, I think so. And some of the other things, I mean, this one has a little clip on here. That's nice. This one has a external clip that mounts right here, and this one also has a belt loop that you can latch onto a belt like that. That's another upgrade. This drill also has a flashlight that lights up whatever you're working on. So if you're working in dark places, as soon as you click that drill just a little bit, it turns on the light and it stays on for about 20 seconds. So you can click it, you can kind of see where you're going, and then drill right into it, and you don't have to worry about that. Some of the older systems, this one also has an LED, but it shines at a different spot, and so there's a big shadow over here, and it's a little less effective. And then, of course, the old batteries, there's no light on it at all. So you have kind of an evolution of the LEDs that they've attached. Another difference, this is a clutch here. You can set it to 1, and when you drive in a screw, it'll click over it'll have a low impact to it. Or if you really want to crank it down into really heavy duty stuff, you can hit 17 and it'll really drive it in, and then it'll clutch out and it'll stop, or set it to drill, and whatever you got is what you got. So there's no clutch there, and it'll just drive as much as you want. This is actually a hammer drill, and they sell a hammer drill for the old ones. This is the hammer drill for the 20 volt. This one has your clicks, and this is actually an electronic clutch. This is a mechanical clutch. They are a little bit different. This one, as you're driving it in, it will sense that you're over torquing, and it'll go click, 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 and it'll stop. And it's pretty neat when you try it out. It has a more accurate feel than the just, oh, we're too heavy, let's just stop, and it click, click, click. It makes a kind of a grinding noise. This one has all your different adjustments here. You get up to 11. That's where you do your heavy duty work. You got your drill, just like this one, and then this one has your hammer effect, which is really useful. You put a concrete drill bit in there, and it'll, instead of just going around like a normal drill bit, it actually has a spiral of little ramps. So as you're going forward, it clicks forward, and what that does is it pounds into those little tiny pieces, those little tiny sand pebbles inside the concrete to kind of bash those out of the way of the drill bit. And so it's the only way to really drill into concrete, because if you try to drill into concrete with a normal drill bit, it just burns up, and it can't cut bits of sand, because the sand is stronger than the drill bit, so it just burns up your drill bit. You got to have a very heavy metal there that kind of chips away at those little pieces instead of trying to cut them up. It's just trying to break them into little pieces, and you're pulling that powder out. So this is kind of a 201. They're actually fairly similar in weight. They also sell this version without the hammer drill, and it's even lighter. I think this is 5.5 pounds. I think the non-version is about 3 pounds, or maybe it's 4.5 pounds. I'm not sure, but I think this is about 3 pounds. So if you want the 3 pounds in this version or the 3 pounds in this version, they sell whatever you need. So those are the differences there.
Thanks for explaining it.
There you go.